IShowSpeed just wrapped up his Africa tour, and in this video I'm going to be rating the impact of the tour, the entertainment value of it, and the amount of coverage that this tour got. Let's get into it. So, in case you don't know who IShowSpeed is, he's the biggest streamer on YouTube. He has over 50 million subscribers. He's 21 years old, and this guy is high energy, he's pure entertainment, and he is loved by millions and millions of fans around the world. He is best known for his funny Ronaldo love, or the love that he has for Cristiano Ronaldo, I should say. He loves to go around and do Ronaldo celebration, and he loves to bark, and he has all these little quirks that he has about him, but he's also known for being very fast, and that's why he has the name Speed. I show speed, I show how fast I am, and he's a pretty funny guy. And so in the end of December, so December of 2025, IShowSpeed decided to go on an Africa tour, and in this Africa tour, he decided to visit 20 countries over 28 days. And this was Speed's first time in Africa, and the 20 countries that he visited were Algeria, Angola, Benin, Botswana, Egypt, Eswatini, Ethiopia, Ghana, Ivory Coast, Kenya, Liberia, Morocco, Mozambique, Namibia, Nigeria, Rwanda, Senegal, Africa, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. So those are the 20 countries that he visited over 28 days up until the end of January 2026. So an insane schedule to visit 20 countries in 28 days, and Africa is the biggest, if not, I think the biggest in terms of geography continent in the world. So to be able to go from the southern part of Africa all the way to the northern part of Africa, to do that all within 1 month, and the amount of energy that this guy has to do it is absolutely insane. I know he's young, but when I was 21, I don't think I would be able to do what he's doing. But first, let's talk about the entertainment value that this tour brought. So entertainment wise, amazing. You know, the videos are getting millions upon millions of views. Speed was doing his very best to, you know, keep the viewers engaged. Not just the viewers, even the people around him engaged wherever he was going. He was racing local people that would want to race him. He was trying the local foods, and he was being funny with his reactions to what he was tasting. He would do challenges whenever people would come up to and ask him for a challenge, or even local things, whatever. Basically anything that came his way, he was willing to do it, and he was willing to try it. Did some daredevil stuff in Zambia by going to the Victoria Falls, which is the largest waterfall in the world, and he went to the Devil's Pool, hanging by the edge of the waterfall. There's a rock there, there's a natural barrier that prevents people from falling over, but still, it is a pretty daredevilish thing to do, but Speed was able to do it. He was hanging out around animals, it didn't matter. Whatever he thought would be entertaining for the viewer, he would absolutely do. And I gotta give a shout out to every country that worked with him, because the way these tours work is that there's a schedule, right? So Speed lets his team, or his Speed's team lets the local people know, whether it's a local tourism or local influencers, the people that are going to work with him, he lets them know what the schedule is, where Speed's going to be, and how the flow of everything is going to work out. So the people in Africa, you know, they shout out to them for helping putting this thing together, because it doesn't just take one team, it took multiple people to put this together, and it was amazing to watch. So in terms of grading the entertainment, and I forgot to mention the education, the amount of education in terms of, you know, covering the tribes and covering the tourist attractions that these countries had to offer, I would give Speed a 10 out of 10 for that. Next, let's talk about impact. So impact wise, like I'd mentioned already, the videos were getting multiple millions of views. Some live streams were averaging about 200,000 viewers at a time. I believe in Ethiopia and Kenya, that's when I was seeing those numbers. So 200,000 people watching live about what Speed is doing in a country is absolutely insane. And the perceptions I wanted to talk about and highlight here. So as many people know, Africa has some negative propaganda towards it, in terms of it being poor, just full of poverty, full of crime, full of conflict or war, full of disease, you know, Ebola, HIV, cholera, whatever you may name it, and so on and so forth, about all the negative perceptions. So to show that an American guy with his team can come to the country, yes, I'm sure he took the precautions that he needed to, you know, medicine wise and, you know, stuff like that, but to show that it's safe and that he wasn't worried. I mean, his bodyguards are obviously taking care of him, but to show that it's a place that, you know, he can experience love and people adore him, and that people aren't all living in huts, and that there's so much beauty in Africa. There's delicious food, there's beautiful women, there's so on and so forth, that there's an abundance of that stuff there. I've read so many comments from people online being like, I didn't know Africa was like that. Man, I love what Speed's doing. I need to visit the motherland as well. I loved that one part from the stream that I saw. There's a lot of comments like that that I read online, and 10 out of 10 in terms of impact visually, in terms of breaking propaganda. But I will say, financially speaking, Speed wasn't really doing anything monetarily to help the people that may have been in need in some of the places where he was going. But I think that was a good thing that he did, because, you know, sometimes people may say, well, you gave this person money, but you didn't give this person money, and stuff like that. People start to compare. You could argue that the amount of impact that he's made didn't have to be financial. He didn't have to go and, you know, oh, I gave this village $1 million, or oh, I did this, or oh, I did that. Like, just him putting Africa on the map on a global scale was probably a strong enough impact the way it was. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure Speed is going to put some, you know, campaign together to help other organizations or other communities, that nonprofits and stuff like that, that are willing to support causes in Africa. So last thing I wanted to talk about was the amount of coverage. So coverage wise, like I said, views aside, he visited 20 out of the 54 countries in Africa. There's many more countries for him to visit. So there will be a part 2 tour, maybe even a part 3, because I'm assuming he's not going to do 34 countries in his next tour. So there's probably going to be a 3-part tour for Africa. And, you know, the coverage was amazing. He went to mostly capital cities and, you know, national parks, and, you know, visiting tribes and stuff like that. In the countries that he did visit, they were mostly one-day streams, but some countries got multiple days, like South Africa and Kenya and so on and so forth. So I think, you know, he did the best that he could with the limited time that he had. But in terms of coverage, I will give it maybe an 8 out of 10, just because there's a lot more that these countries had. And if you read a lot of comments, people are like, well, Speed, you should have seen this, you should have done that, and you should have done this and done that. And so, you know, he's only got so much time, but, you know, he did the best that he could with that. So that's my thoughts on the Speed Africa tour. I'm curious what you think. Please let me know in the comment section below. It was super entertaining. I'm sad that it's over, but I really, really look forward to seeing the part 2 Africa tour and where Speed goes from here. Congrats to you, 50 million subscribers, 21 years old, the world's his oyster, and let's see what happens. But anyway, my name is Asher. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.